Hi, my name is Brother, and today we're going to be talking about tier list for SUPERVIVE. And this tier list is specifically for newer players who want to just kind of learn the game and get better. So yeah, let's begin. And we'll just start from the top left here. Bishop, I think, is a fairly strong champion and not super hard to learn. Her mechanics aren't super complex, and I do think that for beginner players that she is a fine pickup. So we'll throw her into, let's do B tier here. Yeah, she's completely fine, um, but it can be a little difficult because her effective range is so short. Uh, so that can be very punishing for new players. So next we'll go Brawl. Brawl is one of the highest APM champions in the game, and he also is just not an easy champion to learn. So I'm going to put him in the D tier for beginner players. In higher Elos, he is very strong, and if you get good at the game, he's a champion you could pick up later on, and he will be very good for you. But as a beginner, I think that you should probably stay away from Brawl. And again, he's a melee champion. He has a million dashes, but because he's a melee champion, it could be very punishing if you don't have very good mastery of the hunter to be effective. Okay. Next, we have Celeste here. Celeste, I think she's pretty weak right now overall, but I think for beginner players, she is actually fairly easy to pick up. She has kind of an aim assist on her auto attacks where they're semi heat seeking, so it can help you if you're still working on getting your aim down. Also, her abilities are fairly intuitive and not too difficult to learn. And she has a lot of get out of jail free cards. So her ice wall and her ultimate are basically like if the play just gets busted, you can kind of just use that and get out of jail free. So I think she's a pretty forgiving champion and something that beginner players could really pick up and just learn the game with. So we'll put her into A tier as well, A tier up here. Next we have Bunny. Bunny I think is a very strong champion, an underrated champion I think. Uh, her heals are very good. Her long range revives are very good. And she's also very easy. Her kit is very simple, and her dash is really long. So, yeah, she can get around the map very quickly, and her kit is quite easy to learn. And basically, you're just playing support, so you stand in the back and heal pretty much. But if you do go in, her damage is surprisingly good. So I think Bunny is a great hero to learn the game on, and yeah, I think I would definitely recommend her for newer players. So we'll put her into the A tier here. Quite good. Okay, Felix. Felix is one of my favorite heroes, favorite hunters. He's fairly easy to pick up, and his hitting his basic attack is very easy because it's just a flamethrower. So you just hold the flamethrower on them, you know. And his kit is very simple. He has shields. His recommended build is lifesteal as well. So you have quite a bit of sustain. You're very self-sufficient as Felix, and he has a lot of mobility with his ult as well. Kind of a get out of jail free card. If the fight goes poorly, you can ult out. But most of the time, you're going to want to be ulting in as Felix. You kind of dive bomb them. So yeah, I love Felix. I think his kit is great, and he's very easy to pick up. So I think Felix would be my recommended hunter. If I had to pick one for new players to play, it would be Felix. But his playstyle isn't for everyone. So that's why there's this tier list, and that's why there are multiple heroes. Let's move on to Ghost. Ghost, I don't think is in a great spot right now. Um, and his damage just isn't what Hudson's damage is. He feels just like a worse version of Hudson in some ways. Um, his range could be really good with his power shot, but I don't think Ghost is particularly good. But his kit is simple, so for newer players, it's not terrible to play him. Uh, yeah, so we'll put him in the C tier. Okay, next is the big guy, Hudson. This is, yeah, the most important hunter in the game right now. He's kind of broken, and he's super easy to play. He has anti-mobility. His dash is super long. So Yeah, I am really tempted to put him in the S tier, but I'm going to put him in the A tier only because uh, if you learn the game on Hudson, all of the other hunters are going to feel difficult. So you don't want to spoil yourself too much, you know. So Hudson goes in A tier. He is also receiving several nerfs in the future, I would imagine. They actually just announced today that there will be nerfs for Hudson, so um, yeah, I wouldn't expect him to be a character that you can sort of carry into higher elos if that's what you choose to do. Whereas like Felix is able to be played in higher elos. He's very good at basically all elos. So um, yeah, Hudson doesn't go in S because he's going to get nerfed. Okay, Jin. Another pretty difficult champion, actually. A lot of mechanics. He's a clone, and so keeping track of your clone for newer players just learning the game, uh, you don't want to have to worry about a difficult champion or hunter like this. So Jin is probably going to also go in the D tier here just because of difficulty and APM. Um, Also, he is just kind of a worse version of Brawl right now. So, you know, if you choose to go into higher tiers, if you're trying to grind, I don't think Jin is the best pick for that either. So he goes in D tier. Okay, Jewel. Jewel is a really fun champion, and the dash resets are awesome. Her kit is medium difficulty, I would say. She's not the easiest champ, but definitely not the hardest. So, yeah, she's fun and does a lot of damage. Once you figure out her passive and get the dash resets, she does a million damage, and it's not super hard to pilot her. So, we're gonna put her into the B tier to start here. Yeah, super fun champion. Okay, Kingpin. Kingpin's really fun. Uh, he just like automatically wins fights sometimes. If you start with the hook on the right person and you get a kill right off the bat, the fight's basically over and you've won the fight. So, uh, yeah, Kingpin is awesome. Really, really strong right now. Really fun and has a little bit of tankiness. So he's a little bit forgiving sometimes. Uh, so, yeah, very strong. We'll put him S or A tier. We'll put him in A tier. S tier, I mean. Yeah, just too strong. His pull mechanic is so unique in the game, within the game, and he can just make plays that no other hero can make, hunter can make. So yeah, he's an S tier. And also, again, he could be played at higher elos if you choose to learn the game on him and just stick with him. He is good. Yeah, all the way to legend. So yeah, okay, let's move on. Myth. Myth is really strong. But not a super forgiving hunter. So yeah, she is really good. Her anti-heal is really, really strong, and you can spam it. Um, so she's good. She's also the only hunter that can dash through walls. So she is good, but for new players just playing the game, I wouldn't necessarily recommend her, but you can if you want to. Um, yeah, I would probably put her in C tier just because you need a solid grasp of like fundamentals of the game, I think, before you can really be effective on Myth. So, okay, moving on. Oath. Oath is another very unique hunter in that he's really the only character that does what he does, where he has this huge shield and he does healing and he's got this massive ult that can separate a team fight and just win the team fight basically. So yeah, I mean he is really really strong, really really good. The only problem is I don't see him as like super self-sufficient if you're in solo queue. So if you have a team, especially, Oath is really really good. But if you're solo queuing, he is still good, but not like S tier. So it kind of depends on what kind of if you have friends to play with or if you're just solo queuing. But I'm going to put Oath here in A tier. He is a solid, solid hunter. He's in a really good spot, and he's just so unique with what he can do. Okay, next we have Shiv. Shiv is extremely strong right now, just got buffed. A lot of the top players are playing Shiv right now, but she is extremely high skill ceiling and a pretty low floor for like what she can do with the game. Like if you miss a shot, your first shot after your dash, you're kind of pretty useless for the rest of the fight. So Um, yeah, I wouldn't recommend starting with her, but she's a really fun champ that you can pick up later on down the line, and you can definitely climb on her. So we'll put her in. She's not quite like Jin and Brawl. I'll put her into C tier. Okay, Shrike is not super strong right now. She's just not in a very good position compared to the other hunters. So she's probably the worst in the game later on. That being said, I think she's a great hunter to sort of practice your aim on and to play safe, play the back line, and just get the game mechanics down. So yeah, I think for new players, she's not a bad hero at all. So we'll put her into the B tier actually. Okay, Void. Void is another hunter that it is extremely easy to be completely useless on. A lot of times I'll see Voids with either 30k damage at the end of a game or 500 damage at the end of the game, and there's not a ton of in between. So that means that it's very easy to be useless. You have to play very precisely and very smart around fights to actually be super useful with Void. So I would not recommend him for new players just starting out. I'm going to put him in the D tier just because, yeah, just a really high skill, all or nothing kind of hero. Okay, and last we have Zeph. Zeph is awesome. He is one of the strongest hunters in the game right now, and basically all comps use him in higher elos. So definitely a good champ to have. He's also not super hard to play. His heal is just a point and click basically, and he has mobility for his entire team. He has a great ult that heals and damages and revives wisps. So he's a very, very strong hunter, and I would recommend him for basically all elos of players. He's just really strong and in a really good spot. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in the A tier as well, I think here. And yeah, there you have it. Let me scroll up a little bit. Okay, so here's our tier list. Um, yeah, Felix and Kingpin, S tier, for sure. So let me know what you thought of this tier list. If I'm completely wrong, I'd love to hear about it. Please comment down below and like this video if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, still like the video. Okay, thanks guys. See you next time.